So I wrote this in the middle of preparing for our 40-day sadhana and the discovery of moving through grief, and also thinking about how culturally here in the West in particular, that all of our rituals are so embodied in speed on the grieving of loss, no matter what that is. There's always a sense of sort of on to the next, or, whatever, I'm over it feeling, and moving on, but not necessarily a sense of processing through. And I think truly processing through clears our vessels on a molecular level of the holdings of memory, the actual weight. If you were able to measure it in pounds, would, for so many of us, have stored so much poundage from the lives that we have led, with the traumas and moments of loss that just have never completely been processed and released. And, I began to think about, well, what does that mean, And what would happen if I actually planted and on a metaphoric level, grief into the soil? Like, what would that mean? And so in thinking of that, this poured into my vessel, my creative space, my understanding, my spirit connection to earth and to all that is. And I wrote this. It came from that space. It dropped down into me, and I put it on the page. So I'm going to read this to you now and remind you that you can sign up for Awakening the Radiant Energy of Joy, our 40-day sadhana based in Kundalini practices, moving through grief to joy. If I were to take my heart burdened with the weight of sorrow and place it in the earth, what would it bloom? Would it bloom? Would I see the depth of my being held in this loss? Or would the brilliance of new beginnings shine through? I see around me all comes and all goes, but this weight I hold, it is mine to hold. And then a voice comes clear in me. My holding this sorrow as mine and mine alone is the true death of all new beginnings. I knew then that I had to find a place to see this loss so I could let it go. I knew then to trust. When I released its hold on my heart, when I let go, I would begin again new, not only for me, but for all. Did this mean I no longer see my grief and greet its presence in the morning rise? Does it mean I no longer feel it in the memory of I with you, the we of I? Does it mean I no longer know this pain? Then the voice came again, and I knew the memory of all was mine to hold, to share, to know. But to trust in the cycle of life and just let it go. So with that, I walked into the experience of losing with my heart open and mind in query, so I could yield the blossoms, the colors, the vibrancy of newness. Would it blind me, I asked, because my heart had no more room open to we? Deep in my breath, the voice came again. This time I understood that my heart needed to release the holdings of all my living, all the legacies of my ancestors' grief holdings. I knew then that to witness the newness and enter into its shine, I needed to make room in me so I could harvest the blooms and renew myself from the inside. So I could love again with an open heart, laugh again with a joyous belly, cry again from the whispers of tears. I could be with we again. So I sing to you this gift of whispers through the night in all my crevices, to take the journey inside, to know my voice, to feel the void, to move the stories of my closed insides, so I can let go the decay of time, lived and passed through, and like the nebula that becomes the star, and the nova that becomes the nebula, we can step into the cycle of life with its beginnings and endings more fluidly. I share this gift with you. I want to see you flourish in the cycle of ending and beginning, and not get hung up on the brilliance of the colors, of the sadness of its dying. But instead we can relish its endings, knowing it will begin again. The I to the we, to the we, to the I, to the we, again and again, and eternity. So thank you for joining me in this breath sharing. And I look forward to those of you who want to step into the room and dig inside of it and release through our creative musing, release through our stories, and be held by the science of the Kriyas of Kundalini, the breath of Kundalini, and to move into the portal of joy, to activate the radiant energy of joy.